Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. Well, I mentioned in my August TBR that I was going to be participating in the Amazing Readathon hosted by Bree over at Four Paws and a Book. This is going to be my weekly vlog of participating. I am really excited, but a little bit nervous that I don't know the prompts ahead of time. However, for leg one, our prompt has been revealed. We are going to be headed to New York City, and the prompt is to read a book that is published by one of the 5 large publishers or an imprint of theirs. So, starting off with an easy one, which I'm very glad about. You can choose to take different methods of transportation. So, if you go by plane, you're allowed to double your points from the page count. If you travel by car or boat, you are able to add or multiply 1.5. And if you don't have any money and you have to end up walking there, you have to split the page count points in half. So for this one, I am going to be reading 2 books, hopefully. These 2 books are what I need to return to the library the soonest, and so that's how I've picked them. The first that I'm going to be reading is Yamihara by Mizuki Sujimura. This, I think, is like a contemporary horror, and this is published by Yen Press, which is a collaboration of Hachette and a Japanese publishing house. So this will count. And because this is translated from Japanese and has a Japanese author, I will be able to get bonus points for this as well. The other book that I'm picking is Chain Gang All-Stars. And this is going to give me a bonus for the author being a person of color. Right now, I'm not starting with any blue books, unfortunately, but I will be able to hopefully get some in later. I will let you know how my reading goes, what I'm thinking of the books, and when the new prompt drops, I will let you know what I intend to read next. So it is day 3. I had a bad health day yesterday, but I was able to read a little bit more of Chain Gang All-Stars. I'm about 120 pages into my ebook version. So we follow basically these 2 prisoners, Hurricane Stacks and Loretta Thurwar. Basically in this dystopian world, murderers and prisoners who have 25 years or more on their sentence are allowed to opt into this gladiator fight towards the death program. And if they survive for 3 years, then they are released and all of their crimes are basically excused. However, with this fight to the death, not very many people can last 3 years. And we focus on Loretta Thurwar, who is called a colossus, or colossal? Yeah, because she is only 2 weeks away from finishing this 3-year sentence. And we also follow Hurricane Stacks, who is also a really great fighter. She really plays up towards the cameras and has kind of almost like a persona. Like, she always tells the person she's about to kill that she loves them. And then after they're dead, she gets an X tattoo marked somewhere on her body to represent the person she killed. And she's very good at, like, playing to the crowd. And she uses a scythe as a weapon. So these 2 women are in a relationship with one another, and they both form links on a chain. And there are 8 people on this chain, and the benefit for that is that they don't have to fight each other. They can, if they want, kind of form alliances and help each other out on figuring out basically how to take down whoever their opponent is. We also see people who are really into the sport, who like watch it religiously and want to meet these prisoners. They're basically treated like celebrities. And then we also see people who are protesting against this very inhumane treatment. They want to repeal this. They think that this is barbaric, and of course it is. And so that's interesting, seeing other perspectives. This is a very dark satire on for-profit prisons. We get a lot of corporate sponsorship in the story, not only in the products that they use to maintain control over the prisoners, but also corporate sponsors will give them clothing to wear to kind of represent them. Yeah, we shouldn't have for-profit prisons because they treat it like a business and they want to be efficient and run, at full capacity, whether or not there's that many people to fill it up or not. It's very dark. It's very violent, but it is so good. I am really intrigued to see what's going to happen next. Knowing that Thurwar is only a few weeks away, I'm nervous for her because I don't think it's mentioned whether or not somebody has actually done the whole 3 years and has been freed. It's unclear. So part of me is like, ooh, what could come up that might jeopardize that? We also find out about a murder that took place outside the arena, and that's adding quite a bit of tension as well, because it's very likely that somebody on the chain killed somebody within their own chain. And while they don't have to form alliances, that's what Thurwar wants. She wants them to feel safe with one another, and she's very shaken by the fact that one of her links was murdered. We also get to see a twist that will be coming up for the season finale. I won't reveal what that twist is, but it's definitely adding quite a bit of tension, and I swear this is a page turner. I wish I would have had some better health days to read more. I feel like I'm behind because on the Blue Team chat, there are people who are already finished with their first book and have even read a second, and I'm only a third of the way through my first book. So hoping I can catch up, have some good days, and do some binge reading, essentially. I didn't start Yamihara. I think the next prompt will be dropping either today or tomorrow. And I didn't want to be in the middle of 2 books because you have to finish the books before you can move on. So I'm going to do my best to try and finish Chain Gang All-Stars, which is fantastic so far. And then when the new prompt drops, I will let you know about it and let you know what I'm choosing for it. Hey, so it is day 5. These have been really sporadic updates. We've been getting a ton of storms, and those are migraine triggers for me. So I've not had a lot of good health days lately. However, I was able to finish Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjeh-Brenyah, and oh my gosh, this was so good. It's probably going to end up in my favorite books of the year. That good. The ending, I thought I knew how it was going to end, but it surprised me. And while at first I thought I would prefer a different ending, but I think the ending that the author went with was very impactful, and I really liked it. We also got to see a character who basically was morally opposed to the blood sport fighting, but decides to try it because her husband's really into it. And you see her journey from being kind of disgusted that this is government-sanctioned murder to advocating for people to kill other people. Oh, they should just kill that guy because X, Y, and Z. And it's kind of a scary transformation. And I thought that was really interesting to have that in there. So definitely it is violent. And there are a lot of statistics that are current about being imprisoned and being in immigration detention centers, and basically how we don't treat people humanely at all. And while this was a dystopian and it's gone further than how our society is now, it really sheds quite a light on us dehumanizing prisoners. And I think that this is going to be a book that just stays with me. I can't recommend it enough. 5 stars. Absolutely wonderful. So I read this book for our very first Leg 1 prompt, and it had to be a traditionally published book by one of the 5 main publishers or an imprint of theirs. So it was published by Pantheon, which is an imprint of Penguin Random House, which is one of the 5. It was 384 pages. And then I am taking the CAR, which gives me a 1.5 multiplier, which equals 576 points. And I get an additional bonus 50 points for the author being a person of color, which gives me a total of 626 points for the blue team. Yay! We have now got our second prompt. We're going to Mexico City, and the prompt is to read a beautiful book. And blue team was not in first place nor last place, so we didn't get any advantages or disadvantages. And we don't know who did get those advantages or disadvantages or what they even are. So it's kind of a secret. So the next prompt is to read a book with a beautiful cover. I have 3 choices. My library hold just came in for Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAlister. I really liked Wrong Place, Wrong Time by her and was very excited to pick this up. It is also very pretty with blue and purple, but including the back, I think there's more blue than there's purple, so I will get a bonus if I read that one. Another book that I intend to start on Monday, which might not be for this prompt anymore, Julia and the Shark by Kiran Millwood Hargrave. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Chattie, and this is a gorgeous book, so I'm hoping I can fit that in for the prompt. And lastly, Yamihara. This does not have an audiobook, and with all of my really migrainous days, I may not be able to get to this in time. There's people waiting for it at my library. I did see that Audible has an audiobook for this book coming out in November, so if I can't get to it with my eyes within the short amount of time that I have left, I might wait until November so that I can get the audiobook. But I also think this is a very pretty book. It's kind of creepy pretty, but anyway, so that is my update. I'm going to be starting one of these books, probably the Just Another Missing Person, since I'm very, very excited for it. And yeah, I will probably update you one more time before this vlog finishes for week 1. Hi. All right, it is day 7, the last day of this vlog. I had another migraine, but I was able to read some more, so let me talk about it. So for Mexico City, the prompt was read a beautiful cover, and I chose Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAlister. This was really good. I gave it 4 stars. We follow 3 different perspectives. The first is Julia. She's a DCI, police officer, and she is charged with finding a missing person, but she is being blackmailed by an unknown person who wants her to plant fake evidence at the scene of the crime and essentially frame someone. We also get the perspective of Lewis, the father of the missing girl, and we get a perspective from Emma, the mother of the boy who is being framed. I really liked having the 3 perspectives. It definitely left me guessing about what was going on. For the first twist, which is about the middle of the book, I did see it coming, but only a few pages before it was confirmed. So that felt really good, that I was able to pick up on the clues and figure out kind of what was going on. But there were several later twists that I didn't get, and so yeah, this was a really fun ride. It's also really tense because after Julia has planted this fake evidence, she is constantly trying to basically clean up any loose ends. She realizes that people had body cams on and that there is going to be evidence of something not adding up, so she has to try and basically hide her crime by committing more crimes. So it was pretty tense. I finished this in 2 days, and like I said, 4 stars. I don't think it was quite as good as Wrong Time, Wrong Place, which I read earlier, but definitely very good and would recommend it. For this journey, I chose The Train, which is a 1.5 multiplier. There are 384 pages. With the 1.5 multiplier, that gave me 576 points, plus the cover is blue, so that's an additional 50 points. So I was able to submit 626 points for the blue team. Then had the opportunity to sightsee, which meant I wouldn't have to pay for transportation, but I could read another book that fit the same prompt. I chose the book If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. And this was a very sweet, light fantasy. Essentially, a man finds out he has a brain tumor and he is going to die soon. And whilst kind of processing this, the devil shows up and says, I will give you an additional day of life if I can make something disappear from the world. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll take this deal. And so the devil is looking around his apartment and trying to figure out like what they're going to make disappear. And he sees these chocolate cookies. And he's like, well, I can make chocolate disappear. And the guy's like, oh, okay. But then the devil decides to try a chocolate chip cookie. And he's like, no, these are too good. I'm not disappearing them from the world. I'll pick something else. Which I thought was really funny. Yeah, chocolate is good. The story goes on from there. Each day he is offered an additional day if he agrees to have something disappear. But obviously the stakes get higher. And this book gets really philosophical. It's all about what makes up a life and are these experiences. Basically, if you are deleting things that you associated with good memories, are you deleting part of yourself? It talks a lot about how reality is basically constructed by human means, that the world doesn't have to be the way it is, but because humans have set rules on things like time, color, names, imagination, love, all of these things that are innately human, and it really talks about what's important. And it had me ruminating a lot. I will say that there was a ton of movie quotes, which at some times got repetitive, and it sometimes veered into getting a little bit cheesy. But overall, I thought the story was really enjoyable, and I liked it quite a lot. I gave it 4 stars. It was only 202 pages, but because it was a blue cover, translated from Japanese, and the author was a person of color, I get 150 points to add. So I added 352 points to my sightseeing. I submitted that last night, and I am so glad I did, because now the third prompt has dropped, and we are headed to Sao Paulo. The prompt there is to read a book with 3 or more people on the cover. And I have chosen How Do You Live by Genzaburo Yoshino. This is it's blue, it's translated from Japanese, and it is also a person of color. So this will give me quite a few points for Sao Paulo. That'll be part of next week's vlog, though. So definitely tune in to see if I like it. Adding up all my points, I had 626 points for Chain Gang All-Stars. I had 626 points, again, for Just Another Missing Person, and I added 352 points for my sightseeing book in Mexico, which adds up to 1,604 points for my blue team. I am really excited about it. This has been quite a fun readathon. I don't know if I've explained the money, but basically everybody starts out with 5,000 GC, which I think stands for generic currency, but I'm just going to call it dollars. So we start out with $5,000 for travel. The first time I traveled, I used a car, which cost me $300. And in my second leg, I used the train, which cost $350. So I am down to $4,350 left. I am being kind of cheap on travel because while it does allow you to have a better multiplier, we just found out that there's a sabotage opportunity, and it costs $500 essentially to sabotage another team. I want to save up my money so that I have that opportunity later in the game to do so. And also the only other way to earn more money that we know of currently is to read a host's favorite. And unfortunately, when I looked at that list, there were books I had already read, which I'm not intending to reread, or they were books that I wasn't interested in. The only option would be the Expanse series. Somebody put the first book on their favorites list, and you can read any in the series. So I will likely pick up one of the Expanse novellas at some point during this to earn a little bit extra money. But it's only $50, so I'm going to be a little bit more tight-fisted with my money to make sure I can afford it. The only type of travel that doesn't cost any money is walking/rowboating, but they split your points in half. So yeah, that doesn't seem like a good option. I don't want to do that if I can help it. Okay, well, this has been a really good reading week so far. Chain Gang All-Stars got 5 stars and might be a new favorite of the year. Just Another Missing Person got 4 stars. And If Cats Disappeared from the World also got 4 stars. So this is really good. If you're participating in the Amazing Readathon, let me know how you're doing. Have you had any great reads? Have you been struggling? Let me know. And if you aren't participating in this readathon, what have you been reading? I'm curious to know. Let's have a chat down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining.